Now available on Tata Sky channel number 526.
Hello and welcome to the Property News. You're watching Magicbricks Now, India's first property channel. I'm Amata Balachandra. Let's take a look at the top headlines at this hour.
With eminent people who are engaging with your channel, it won't be just another discussion and it won't be just another blame game. There will be some concrete measures that we can arrive at.
Your protests and consistent programming on Magicbricks Now reaps results. Chief Minister Fadnavis has agreed to meet Deonar residents in the first week of April. Residents will push for permanent solutions to end this public health crisis. That is our big Magicbricks Now impact today. Cheer for Mumbai pedestrians. BMC's new mobility plan will focus on you, the man on the street. Magicbricks Now gets you exclusive details on these plans that will be rolled out in another 2 months. And in Navi Mumbai, home buyers can look forward to more transparent real estate transactions. The city will soon get fungible FSI. How will that help you? We tell you in just a bit. Also on the show, we continue our series looking beyond metros. Today, we tell you about the Chandigarh property market. Straight up to the big Magicbricks Now impact story. All those of you who've been regular viewers would know that Magicbricks Now has been fighting for Deonar and Mumbai's right to cleaner air. That fight, we're happy to say, has now been noticed. The Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, has now agreed to meet with Deonar residents and find a permanent solution to this very severe public health crisis. Aishwarya Palawal, who has been tracking this story at Deonar, who's made Deonar her business since the day the first fire broke out, got us his exclusive report.
Tuesday's protest by angry citizens at Mumbai's Azad Maidan has finally reaped benefits. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has agreed to meet these residents and to address the problem that they are facing when it comes to Deonar's dumping ground. We spoke with a couple of residents and they told us that this meeting will mostly take place in the first week of April. They say once they meet the Chief Minister, they are hoping that they'll find a permanent solution to this problem. They also allege that all the promises that were made to them by various authorities till date have been hollow. In fact, the last fire that took place, the massive one, was on the same day as BMC Chief Ajay Mehta had held a press conference assuring citizens that swift measures have been put in place to prevent another fire from taking place. The press conference was held in the evening and within hours another massive fire had broke out at this dumping ground. The residents are hoping that once they meet the Chief Minister, a permanent solution will be found out and they'll be able to live in peace henceforth.
All right, now, like we told you earlier, Magicbricks Now has been fighting for your right to breathe clean air from day one. On Tuesday, hours after residents protested at BMC's doorstep, Magicbricks Now raised the issue yet again. Persistent questioning by our editor, Faye D'Souza, saw the national spokesperson of BJP, Shine INC, commit to letting citizens have their say. Listen into what she said.
All right, there's no doubt about the fact that we have a crisis situation on our hands right now in Mumbai, starting with the air and then with all of the other problems that we're facing. So this is the platform. Let's create the platform on this channel. Saurabh has made a commitment, Rishi's made a commitment to actually work on a docket of suggestions, immediate solutions for the city of Mumbai. If you're watching at home as well, you can get in touch with us. If we have your commitment that we can bring this docket to you and you will take it to the government, both state and centre, then we will make this the platform in which citizens can put forward any sort of suggestions they have to the government.
Faye, I also want to make one more suggestion. It isn't about reaching just to me. It should reach right from the municipal corporation to the various other stakeholders like MMRDA, etc. The Environment Minister, Ramdas Kadam, the Chief Minister, because if we engage in parallel conversations with the bureaucracy as well as the political class, I'm sure somewhere the dots will connect. And I'm just hopeful that with eminent people who are engaging with your channel, it won't be just another discussion and it won't be just another blame game. There will be some concrete measures that we can arrive at.
All right, that is a big Magicbricks Now impact story coming in. Remember, the Chief Minister has agreed to meet residents on the first week of April, and that is something that we will continue to track on this channel. Moving on now, BMC's soon-to-be rolled out mobility plan has you, the pedestrian, as its focus. In what signals a paradigm shift, the city planners will first focus on making the city pedestrian-friendly and then roll out measures to aid those using private vehicles. The first few changes will be rolled out in the periphery of railway stations. Disha Shah got us exclusive details of what the BMC has planned for you.
Walking outside the other railway station in Mumbai certainly seems to be an obstacle course, but this is set to change as Mumbai's civic body BMC is working towards comprehensive mobility plan for you and me. Under this, city planners are focusing on pedestrians first, and the plan is to improve pedestrian movement outside railway stations. As you can see right here that near the railway station, all the places is occupied by hawkers and of course taxis, which station is congested with taxis, which make movement very difficult for a person who chooses to walk. So this won't be the case anymore, as the civic body is planning to construct an elevated bus terminus linked to railway stations. In the first stage, the civic body has covered 3 important junctions, which is Kurla, Dadar and Andheri. As we all know that all 3 railway stations are important junctions. For instance, Dadar connects from Western to Eastern line and Andheri connects from Western to Harbour line. So with this, BMC aims to improve the connectivity around the whole city of Mumbai. Another important measure that the civic body is taking to improve footpaths and footover bridges outside the railway stations, and of course finding missing links which will be converted into short roads for better traffic management. Let me tell you that these are just 3 important junctions, and the civic body has set a target for themselves, which is 2019, that is 3 years from now, and till 2034 the civic body's aim is to at least make over 20 such railway stations in the city of Mumbai. This is Disha Shah for Magicbricks Now.
Meanwhile, there's some good news coming in for home buyers in Navi Mumbai. The city will soon get fungible FSI. This means the builder cannot overcharge you for areas you do not use in your homes, like ducts, flower beds, etc. Ruchi Deshpande is standing by with more details. Ruchi, help us break it down for our viewers on this channel.
So it may sound complex, but it really isn't. What fungible FSI means is that if a builder wants extra FSI on top of what is allotted to him, he essentially has to pay a premium or a certain amount to the developmental body and avail of that FSI. How does this news affect you and me as a customer? Let me just break it down for you. Now, say earlier, the builder gave you a flower bed as well as a balcony. Note that these 2 things are not included in the FSI, which means they are completely free of the FSI. The catch here is that the builder will still charge you for the same as a customer. What it also means is that even though he is charging you, he won't, Sidco or any other developmental body will not charge the builder for the same. What has happened now is that Sidco has mandated that if you as a customer are still being charged for that flower bed as well as the balcony, if the builder manages to have both these things within the allotted FSI, then it's good. If not, then in order to avail that extra FSI, the builder has to pay a premium of 35% of that ready reckoner rate to Sidco. How is it an advantage for you as a buyer? Well, firstly, it will ensure transparency, which means that you as a buyer know exactly the amount of area that you're paying for to the builder. This also takes away the discretionary power of the builder, which means that he cannot overcharge you for these things. However, when we spoke to consultants, they told us that there is a flip side to this. In case the builder does go in for paying that extra premium to the developmental body, he will make sure that it is loaded onto the input cost. Now, higher input cost may well mean that what you were paying for a certain house a while ago in Navi Mumbai, you will have to pay a little more for that house if you want to go in for the same. Now, know that this concept is not new. It has already been applied in Mumbai, and Sidco will introduce it in Navi Mumbai in the coming 6 to 8 months.
All right, Ruchi essentially telling us that now you as home buyers get to pay for the areas that you only use in your home. Thank you so much for those details, Ruchi. Now, to help us understand this move better, we have Arvind Nandan of Colliers International joining us live on the phone line. Thank you so much for joining us on Magicbricks Now, Mr. Nandan. My first question to you, tell us, how will this move bring in fungible FSI impact home buyers?
Well, I heard your question. I don't know if I heard all the previous discussion, but this is very clear. With fungible FSI, what happens is that all the extra FSI which was being charged in the market is now made a part of recognizable FSI. So obviously, from the buyer's point of view, this is much more clarity. Yes, there is a premium payable, and there are different premiums payable for different kinds of properties. But in residential, like you had said, there is a particular limit set. So obviously, from the buyer's point of view, this brings in far more clarity. Obviously, there is a possibility that in certain cases, particularly in case of redevelopment projects, there could be a tussle, so there could be extra increase in costs if the builders do not really adhere to everything. But overall, I think from the builder's point of view, this is going to be a far more beneficial affair. Number one, because they get to know exactly what they are getting. In any case, a lot of buyers are extending their homes and including balconies, etc., into their apartments. So that will also be taken care of. So they know exactly what they're paying for, and they also know what exact areas are they going to use.
All right. Also tell us, will this move have any sort of impact on prices?
There is a likelihood that it can increase prices, or conversely, this can also actually mean a little bit of shaving off of profits from the point of view of builders. Because when they have to pay extra for the fungible FSI, in all likelihood, they can actually pass on that particular incremental cost to the buyers. However, going by the current state of affairs, the overall economic situation, they may not choose to push everything back into the market because that makes the project or the overall purchase a little less viable. But yeah, there is a possibility that if the costs increase and if they increase to the extent of 20 to 30%, then there could be a negative impact on the prices, which means the prices could actually go up slightly.
All right, Mr. Nandan, thank you so much for joining us here on Magicbricks Now. Moving on now, one of the largest private equity players, Milestone Capital Advisors, is looking to prepare for several exits totaling about 1,000 crore rupees over the next couple of months. Milestone's first exit, of course, took place in Bengaluru's Electronic City for about 150 crore rupees. Now, the company we hear is now preparing for its next exit from its NCR property. I caught up with Ruby Arya, Executive Vice Chairman, and asked her about the company's plans. Take a look.
We exited out of the Electronic City property, and this was a good multi-IT tenanted building. And as per our philosophy, where we own the full building, we haven't done really floor-wise buying into properties, because then exits become an issue. And this has been our philosophy. So we had the full building with us. We are looking at exiting out of our warehousing property at Dharuhera in NCR, which is again a very, very attractive proposition as far as investors are concerned. So there are a lot of keen buyers that I have, both fund houses as well as ultra HNI buyers. We are also looking at exiting out of a couple of projects on the residential space. So there is an affordable housing project where we had invested way back in 2009, and and I have a lot of buyers, keen buyers, to get into this space now. Given the fact that there's so much of thrust on affordable housing for all, by 2022, and the concept of smart cities. So this project happens to be in Ambivali in Kalyan. One phase is already constructed and almost 100% sold out. So it's very similarly, because there is already a precedent and a established price point, and there are takers, and there are a lot of demand on ground for these kind of projects. We are going to get refinanced, ourselves. It was a dead deal, and we will get refinanced at 20% IRRs.
Okay, and by when can we expect this to happen? What's the timeline?
These are all slated for the quarter April, May, June.
Okay. Another thing that I also want to know is whether you're looking at platform deals at this point in time.
Platform deals definitely have a very, very strong potential and going forward, and we will look to do platform deals with other fund houses and NBFCs, where we can work as co-investors and fund a larger deal.
All right. Also, considering NRIs can now directly invest into domestic funds, there's obviously going to be a lot of inflow of cash right now. So what is Milestone looking to make use of this opportunity?
So as we speak, we've this current fund that we are raising, we are also throwing it out, to our NRI desks of distributors who are working for us, and because this is, and I mean these kind of IRRs, even if you were to remove, do a 5% kind of a rupee depreciation year on year, you are still talking of yields upwards of 11-12%, which for foreign residents outside India, including NRIs, it's a good yield to have.
It's time now to move on to our special Magicbricks Now series, Looking Beyond Metros. After the Finance Minister announced an additional tax exemption on home loans for first-time home buyers who buy homes costing under 50 lakh rupee, we at Magicbricks Now decided to get you a lowdown on locations that offer homes in the sub-50 lakh rupee budget in the Tier 2 and 3 cities. Today, we talk about Chandigarh's property market. My colleague Suesha Sawant breaks it down for us.
Chandigarh is the capital of both Punjab and Haryana, and it's one of India's first planned cities. The city is a growing IT hub and has state-of-the-art IT offices, multi-storied buildings and SEZs. The sectors that have shown consistent demand include sectors 50, 35, 15, 43 and Mohali sector 91. The average per square foot rate in the city is around 3,200 rupees. The prime locations include sectors 2 to 11, 28, Panchkula, which range from anywhere between 12,000 to 20,000 rupees per square foot. The peripheral areas like Zirakpur, Mohali, Dera Bassi, they cost anywhere between 2,800 to 4,200 rupees per square foot. The potential growth drivers in Chandigarh include the metro project, the international airport at Mohali, Rajiv Gandhi Chandigarh Technology Park, which will generate massive employment on completion. Also, with growing IT expansion in the city, the demand for homes has seen an upward trend.
Now, I'd like to give us more perspective on the Chandigarh market. We have Ashwinder Raj Singh, who is the CEO of Residential Services at JLL. Thank you so much for joining us here on Magicbricks Now. Ashwinder, if I am a first-time home buyer and have 50 lakh rupee to buy a home, tell us on what grounds would you suggest Chandigarh market for me?
See, Chandigarh, you have Chandigarh now a very, it's a large city. It is called a tri-city. You have Chandigarh supported by Mohali and Panchkula. There are other micro markets that have come up in Chandigarh like Dera Bassi, Mullapur, which is called New Chandigarh. Then you have Mohali. Then you have certain places which are coming up near the new airport. So, there are multiple places where you can go and buy a property worth 50 lakhs. And it depends what is the location that you are preferring, and based on that, there are options available for clients.
All right. Also, what kind of appreciation one is likely to see in the next 3 to 5 years?
In a 50 lakh budget, you can always look at Zirakpur, which is connecting Chandigarh to the Delhi highway. It is quite near Chandigarh, and you have some renowned developers coming in there. You also can look at New Chandigarh, which is Mullapur, and all the leading developers of North India have started developing properties there. So these two places are good locations where you can look at an apartment in a budget of 50 lakhs. See, the markets have been down lately, as has been the case in Gurgaon and Noida. So Chandigarh has not been away from this downturn. Overall, the new launches in Chandigarh in 2015 have been 67% less than what they were in 2014. The absorption has been down by 40%. So there is a slowdown in Chandigarh. So I don't expect prices to go up immediately, but with the new Real Estate Regulation Act and the new airport coming up and the technology park coming up, I definitely see an uptake happening after 4 to 6 quarters. And over a period of 3 to 5 years, you can look at a 7 to 8% appreciation year on year.
All right. Also tell us what, according to you, would be the risks in this market for an investor?
If you are not doing your due diligence well and you are buying apartments or property from developers who are not very well known, don't have a past track record, and your money gets stuck and you don't get delivery over the committed period of time, these are the two risks. Otherwise, if you are a patient investor over a period of 5 years, I definitely see 7 to 8% returns being earned by the investor or the end user. And there is a lot of new employment generation that is going to happen in the city. The infrastructure is amazing. It is one of the most planned cities in the country, and it is the capital of both Punjab and Haryana. So a lot of government focus also on the city. I don't see there is any risk unless and until there is some unplanned or decisions taken in a haste.
All right, Ashwinder, thank you so much for joining us here on Magicbricks Now. Let's take a look now at what else is making news in the property market.
There's good news coming in for Yamuna Expressway allottees. The Yamuna Expressway Industrial Highway, or YEIDA, will now allow over 1,000 allottees of its group housing schemes to surrender their investment within 90 days if they do not wish to wait until 2019 for possession. If allottees choose to surrender their plots, then those who have already deposited their installments against the properties will be paid an annual interest of 6%. Allottees must make a decision by April 30th. You can soon access details of over 5,000 Bengaluru properties online. The BBMP or Brihad Bengaluru Mahanagarpalike will make details of properties available online starting May 2016. Citizens will have access to lease details, BDA details, survey and settlement records, fencing, property registration, orders and approvals, renewals, litigation and lease payment details on the civic body's website. Nearly 70% of these properties have already been registered with property ID numbers, while the IDs for the remaining 30% is being generated. DHFL is set to raise 375 crore rupees by issuing non-convertible debentures on a private placement basis. According to the regulatory filing, DHFL proposes to issue 3,750 secured non-convertible usable debentures with a face value of 10 lakh rupees, including a green shoe option on private placement basis.
Alright, let's now shift our focus to interiors. Our bedroom is one of those rooms that not only reflect our personal preferences, but also our personality. So if you've been looking out for a few tips on how to redecorate your bedroom, then here are a few tips for this week's episode of the Interior Show.
Well, Kumpul, I must say that I've seen many four-poster beds, but something never like this. I mean, it's one of its kind.
We started out with, the idea of having a four-poster in this space. We went out sourcing. We stumbled upon this bed. This is a cabana-style bed, which you would normally see outdoors, near the pool, near the beach, something outdoorish. But my suggestion, and then the client also approved of it, and, they weren't really scared to try it. So we were like, what the hell, let's do it. Then the other thing with the console is we played the height. It's again, at 18 inches where, it does not visually affect you even while you're walking around the room. Okay. So those are one of the elements. Then again, the selection of the curtain. We've gone with linens and, those kind of tones and taking it full height. So again, you're not visually cutting any space.
And how about the choice of upholstery here?
Again, if you see, upholstery is really neutral, yet it has a little color of that lavender, blues, but very, very subtly, because that kind of lets the other things take center stage.
To the master bedroom, you've given it a pretty exotic look.
Right.
I'm wondering, what is the kind of treatment you've given to the guest bedroom?
So we've started with giving them, 2 separate beds, expecting that, at any given point in time, you not necessarily have the same family coming in, there could be different people coming in at the same time. And the other thing is a very, very important tip would be that give storage for both your guests.
Paramount.
Make them feel they were wanted, and we've made arrangements for them.
I have sort of spoken on this front on storage many times before, but never has anyone actually told that it's of paramount importance to have proper storage, especially in a guest room.
Definitely,
we tend
that's
to
a must-have.
All right.
Of course, on Magic Bricks Now, we'll continue to bring more such news and updates. But with that, we've run out of time on the show. If you have any feedback or suggestions for us, write to us on the email IDs flashing on your screens. We're also on Twitter and Facebook. Feel free to tweet to us or post your query on our Facebook page. Also, check out our website, mbnow.in. You can also access all our shows on our YouTube channel as well. The IDs are on your screens, and we would love to hear from you. That's it on this edition of the Property News. Thank you for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mbnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.